Hi there, I'm Ry, a technician at 4x418. Today I'm going to be showing you how to install the folding mirror kit, the Hilux. As you can see, if we lock the vehicle, the mirrors do not auto fold and we unlock. They don't do anything. So with this folding mirror kit, when we lock the vehicle, the mirrors will automatically fold, and when we unlock it, they will unfold. So with that being said, these are the tools that you're going to need. So we have a selection of trim tools, plastic trim tools, soldering iron, wire strippers, some electrical tape, a knife, and some solder. Finally, I have our folding mirror kit. So the first thing we want to do is check that both mirrors are working and folding when the button is pushed inside the vehicle. So I'll just take the key and put the ignition on. So the first thing we want to do is turn the ignition on. And now we want to check that both mirrors fold as they should when we press the button. And they do. So again, we'll open them both out. Now we're ready to move on to the install. So I'll turn the ignition off, and I'm going to start by removing these two panels. Now we'll start by removing this armrest. We'll simply pull that up and that will unclip. Just got to watch this white tab here to make sure it pulls out. Put that to one side. And then next we need to remove this black fascia here. Again, make sure you use a plastic trim tool, because if you use a metal you could damage it. Simply going to go down the edge and slowly lift that up like so, and then we'll turn that over. So the first wiring that we need is located just underneath this sound deadening here, which is there. So I'm just going to get the knife and cut that back. So out of this loom here, there's two thick wires, one light purple with a white chase, and then one solid light purple. We want a solid light purple. That is our 12-volt feed, which is permanent live. So I'm just going to strip some of the other stuff out of the way to get access, and then I'm going to use my wire strippers on that. So put my wire strippers in there. Now that we've exposed our permanent live, I'm just going to open the kit up and take out. This is the control module. Don't worry about that for now. I'll just pop that to one side. We do have some Scotch locks. If you don't want to solder them, I would advise soldering though, but again, you can use the Scotch locks if you don't have a solderer. So on our loom here, we have three wires that we need to connect. One is our permanent live, which is the red one, and the green and the blue are unlock signals. So for now we'll connect our permanent live, and then we'll do our central locking wires. So our permanent live, I'm going to cut off the rest of the wire, so I have about 10 inches from my finger to the actual fuse holder. Then I'll just strip that part. Twist my ends. And then I will wrap that around our light purple wire. So I'll now solder that one in place. It's quite a thick wire, so it's going to need a bit to warm it up. Now to finish that part, I'll just put some electrical tape around it. So now that we've got our permanent live in place and tucked back in, I'm going to move on to our central locking wires. To get these through the door, nice and simple, I'm just going to use a tie wrap and tape both of these to the end of it, just to help feed it through. So feed that through the plastic and then pick it up on the other side. Now I'm going to try and keep all this roughly the same length instead of trying to pull it all through. So roughly there. And now I'm going to have to cut this bag again and pull out the wiring loom which is behind it. And this is the central locking wires for the vehicle. So our loom that we want is just behind this yellow tape. So I'm just going to pull some of that off and then cut through there. So the loom's on a small clear clip there. I'm just going to put a trim tool behind that and pull that out. Our central locking wires, thick black and the thick white wire. So I'm going to wire strip these, and then I'm going to put the blue to the black and the green to the white. I'm going to check that as well before I solder anything or clip anything in or put anything back together. So I'll just strip them first. So these now I'm going to roughly cut slightly longer than that, so it's a nice curve and there's no tension on the wiring when we put it back in. So I'll start with blue to black. And green to white. So now I'm just going to clip the box in and check it all. So to check everything, we want the front plug of this one out, and all we're doing is intercepting the signal between these two. So we'll unplug that one. So the car's loom connects into our female connector on our new loom. A nice firm click. And then our male connector on our new harness plugs back in to the door switch assembly. Again, a nice firm click. And finally, we're going to plug our box in. This is our control box. This only goes in one way. So when I plug this box in, the mirrors are going to automatically fold themselves in, and then to get them to unfold, we're just going to click the key, and if we click the unlock, they should unfold, and the lock, they should fold back in. So we'll click this box in, and you'll probably hear the motors go. And they fold in. So I'll now press the unlock button on the vehicle, and this should unfold them. So to make sure that the mirrors fold in when we lock the vehicle, I'm just going to close all the door, leave all this stuff out, close the door and press the lock signal on the key to make sure they fold in. If they do, then I'm happy to solder our central locking wires in and put everything back together. So I'm just going to close the door, but before I do, make sure your central locking wires are not touching. I've got a nice clear gap there. So close the door, press the lock button, and the mirrors should automatically fold in. Press the unlock button, and they automatically fold out. So with that being said, I'm ready to solder the other two wires in and put the door back together. Okay, so I'm ready to solder now. If your wires, if the mirrors are folding out when they should be folding in, then you need to turn this wiring round so it is orientated. It does need to go in one way. So just going to heat that up and solder that in place. So happy that they're soldered. I'm just going to put some electrical tape around that. Make sure they're not taped together to create a short circuit. Now that we've got our wires taped up, I'm just going to push that clip back in and push our wiring back behind that bag. So moving on to the control box now, you can see we have some 3M tape on the back, and we just need to stick that inside the door card, roughly in this area here we can see that there is a free space underneath. If we stick it just there, it might get stuck. This might not be able to fit in with that there. So we're going to stick it in this area, but down on the part below. So push it, so it's stuck to the back side of this panel here. Push that firmly, and then once we're happy with that, we can pop all this wire in the door and refit the panel. Make sure when you push it back in that none of the wiring is trapped down the side. Give that firm clip. And then lastly, we have this small armrest. Make sure your white tab goes in first. So it's important to note that this button here, you see it rocks, that this stays in this position. So this will automatically fold the, if you were driving, you go down a small lane and you need to fold the mirrors in, just clip that in. But if you want the auto fold mirrors to work off the key, you need to leave it in this position so it's flat. So this completes the install of the automatic folding mirror kit on the 21 Hilux. Thank you for watching.